بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Dear sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are all feeling well and ready to join and inshallah for a few minutes talk about the rest of our discussion. Your attention is very much appreciated. May Allah give you lovely reward for all the efforts you've put in. May God inshallah bless the organizers who've made these events possible. It's truly remarkable that we get to come and remember God, remember our Ahlul Bayt, and inshallah as a result of that, change our life. Let's recite another salawat if you're actually ready. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. The past few nights, one of the things we were talking about was that there are two ways of being in the world. In one way of being in the world, you turn things into an object. You are goal-oriented. A person is in front of you, but you don't see them. All you see is a limited idea you have of them, a set of features. You don't encounter the whole person. You're not experiencing the totality of the soul in front of you. No. You've reduced them to a set of features. All you can see from them is the idea you have in your mind about them. And we said this can happen to people in our life, to our own self-worth, and to the world, to the whole world. There is a way of attending the world that it can reduce to the world into a set of objects. And you look around and you're like, where is God? The world loses its soul. And then we'll all ask ourselves, where is God? Where are the angels? Where is the truth? Why is it so dark? But then we said there's another way of being in the world. There's another way of attending to people, to the world, to everything, in which you're not goal-oriented. You don't want to understand everything through your mind. No, you want to be in a fresh, real encounter. Even when you sit next to a person, you can feel that. You either sit next to them waiting to say something, or you're just present in the moment. When they're talking, you're just fully open. Now, once you attend the world in this way, the world will slowly show its soul to you. You encounter God, you encounter the world, you encounter other people. The world becomes full of life, full of light. We mentioned the verse in the Quran that Quran keeps speaking about this, that there's two ways of being in this world. There's one way of living. If you're goal-oriented, if you're only in your mind, if you're not in a real fresh encounter, you doubt everything. You can't see God. You can't find God. You can't even find your own soul. You reach a place where a human being doubts, am I even a soul, or maybe I'm just an animal? But then the Quran says there's also another way. You live in a way that everything in the world talks to you. You reach a place where the prophets say, Afillah shakun, how can you doubt God? I'm living with God. Atuhajunani fillah wa qad hadani. The prophet tells its people that every step of the way I am going with God. So in order to go from this limited way of viewing the world, which takes its soul away from the world, to that way in which you encounter all of the world, the person in front of you, we said we need certain rituals. We need rituals to be able to go from this limited way of experiencing the world, ourselves, the people around us, to a holistic encounter with them, to a fresh encounter with them. We said we need rituals to make this happen. And if you remember, we said there are two forms of rituals. One set of rituals, one set of practices, one set of symbolic acts only change your mode of attending to one area of your life. If you are right now, for example, seeing a sibling or a partner instead of a soul in front of you, you're just seeing them as a set of objects or a body, or you limit them and you're understanding through your mind. There are some practices for that. Maybe you go out, you travel. Traveling is a ritual. Traveling is a way, when you go to travel, for example, with your partner, you go there so that you too enjoy your presence more. When you go to a restaurant, when you take your partner or your mother or your sibling, you go to a restaurant, you dress up and you go, you're trying to change the way you are relating to them. Instead of just seeing them as a set of features, their functions, getting bored of them, you want to encounter them freshly. So some rituals help you only for one area of your life. For example, your relationships to people. But we said there's another type of practices, there's another type of symbolic acts, rituals that are designed to change your relationship with the whole world. How so? It helps the way you are relating to God, and because God is the source of everything, immediately your relationship with everything changes. There's a verse in the Quran which is so beautiful. Most people are familiar with this. It says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجَنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have not created insan and jinn other than for ibadah. The Ahl al-Bayt translated that, gave a tafsir for us. They say, لِيَعْبُدُونَ أي لِيَعْرَفُونَ. They said, God is saying in this verse, you have not come to this world for any other reason than encountering God, knowing God. Not knowing God as a set of features, not knowing God in your mind. No, relating to God, feeling God. See, I am taking the discussion even one step further. In our whole life, there's two ways of living. You can either come in this world goal-oriented to achieve something, to gain something, from one thing to another, hoping that the things you achieve will give you joy, will give you peace, from one task to another. Now I need to, graduate from high school. Then I need to graduate from university. Now I need to get married. As soon as you get married, they're like, have a child. As soon as you have the first child, have the second child. Quran is saying there's two ways of living in the world. Either you're goal-oriented, and they keep pushing you to the next step. They keep delaying your peace. Do this, now do that, now do that, now do that, now do that, now do that. And you're always waiting for a good day. Maybe after I get married, maybe after I have my first child, and then maybe after the second child, then the second child comes, life becomes busy. You're like, you know what, I'll be happy when they leave. It's always pushing you further. Or there's another way of living in the world in which you say, Hassan, I've come here not to achieve anything. I'll do all of that. But those are not my main goal. I've come here to know, to encounter. I want to experience life. I want to experience the Creator. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ أي لِيَعْرَفُونَ. I haven't come here to do anything. I don't need to add anything to myself. You are already special. You are already loved by God. You are already high. Now you just need to find that. You just need to start a relationship with God and with yourself. Encounter yourself. You have come to this world to go through different events of your life so that in every event, in every part of the journey, you discover something about yourself. You discover something about God. In Dua Arafah, Imam Hussein says, Ilahi, علمت باختلاف الآثار وتنقلات الأطوار أن مرادك مني أن تتعرف إلي في كل شيء حتى لا أجهلك في شيء. Imam says, see, Imam says, علمت. By the way, علمت, wherever you see it in du'as or Quran, it doesn't mean I know in my mind. No. It means I feel it. Imam says, now I feel it with my whole being. And how did I know that? That the events that come and go in my life, one day I become a husband, one day I become a wife, one day I become a mother, one day I become a student, one day I go through a heartbreak, one day I go through something else. Events come and go, stages of my life come and go. And Imam Hussein says, God, I feel it in my heart that all of these were you trying to show yourself to me in everything, so that there is nothing in the world that I don't see you through it. We have come to this world to encounter God, to be in a real relationship with God. And it's this way that you finally find yourself. Everything that happened in your life is for you to finally encounter yourself, not as a set of features, but as a real being. Imam Ali in that hadith says, كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ مَعْرِفَةً أَنْ يَعْرِفَ نَفْسَهُ. He says, in this world, you don't need to achieve anything. Job, marriage, all of that, bless you. Do it for yourself. It's okay. But at the end of the life, when you want to go to the next world, when you want to look back and see if you've achieved enough or not, the thing which counts is this. Did you encounter yourself or no? Did you find yourself? Did you find your God? Did you relate to Him? Did you feel Him? That's all you need to do. Have this, you don't need anything else. Don't have this, even if you have the whole world, it won't be enough. In that hadith, it says, the person who has found you, O God, what does it matter what he has lost? And the person who hasn't found you, O God, what does it matter if he has even found everything else? We haven't come to this world to achieve anything, to do anything. We have come in this world to live in a certain way that we encounter God. We encounter ourselves. What is God? God explains Himself. God introduces Himself. He says, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. I am the kind, I am the merciful. Not just merciful, I am the source of mercy. I am the source of love. In Dua Joshan Kabir that we read, God is introducing Himself. This is who I am. We'll get there, Allah, inshallah. Once you fix your relationship with God, suddenly everything in your life will make sense. The purpose of life, purpose of suffering, everything will make sense. And this is why it's so important. If as a parent, you make your child scared of God, and that stops them from going to God, you are the source of all of their problems in their life. Their problems with their partners, their problem with their children. The solution to all of your problems is fixing your relationship with God. And if, as a religious teacher, I go and get people scared of God and would stop them from going to God, I am the source of all of their problems. The only source of peace in this world is encountering God. Everything will then be explained. And it's in this encounter with God that you even find yourself. Everything happening into your life is to teach you something about yourself and God. You go through a difficulty. For example, you loved something so much you lose it. Before that, you thought, if this person goes away from my life, I will die. I cannot survive it without this person. Then this person suddenly leaves you. This is life teaching you something. Before that, you thought you're so small that without this person you cannot survive. Now see, that person went and you're still there. The world is teaching you something. You're bigger than that. You're bigger than you thought. You're stronger than you thought. Most of the things, no, everything in your life is teaching you something about yourself. Because you don't know yourself. You identify yourself with your body. You identify yourself with what you have. You identify yourself with your wealth and you become small. You have an accident with your car, you hurt. Why do you hurt? That car is damaged. Why are you hurting? That is life teaching you you're not the car. You're bigger, you're worthier. A person comes and shouts at you, get hurt. That's life teaching you something. You're not that ego that you've created. You're bigger. Slowly, if you're open, life teaches you, guides you to a place where you realize your worth and you see nothing can hurt you. Every time you got hurt, it means you identified with something that's not you. Because the real person that you are, no one can harm you. No one can hurt you. Every time you get hurt, that's life teaching you you've identified with something you're not. So, life is teaching us. We've come here to encounter God. We've come here to encounter ourselves. But in order to be able to see it that way, we need to change the way we are attending to the world. We need rituals to help us see the world that way. Now, religion, as I said, all the shariat, all the acts we do in religion are helping us to do that. And they are failing right now. Please recite the salawat. Anyone who is honest can actually admit and witness that we have not achieved all of the things that I was just describing to you, right? I'm telling you, religion came to give us that. Religion came to change the way we experience the world. But I'm sure anyone who is honest knows that we are still very much in our mind. We are still very much looking at the world and ourselves as an object. We haven't encountered God. So what's wrong? Tonight, that's what we're going to discuss. What went wrong? How come religion, which was meant to help us change the mode we attend to the world, didn't manage to help us? And I want to use a Quranic analogy to explain it. See, please pay your very good attention. Nowhere else you can find this information. I've searched so much to find the people who can teach these stuff. It's not from me. Believe me, you'll have to wait a whole lifetime to find this information. This Quranic analogy says, see, the two ways of being in the world, one in which you don't see God, you don't see yourself, you don't see the people in front of you, you limit them to objects, you turn them into an object. It's like being at the bottom of a well, a pit. Imagine a large well, and you're at the bottom of that. There is no light. You can't see God. You look around, you don't see beautiful souls. You look in the mirror, you don't see your beautiful soul. You just see bodies, you just see material, you just see objects. You don't see love easily. You don't see angels, you don't see God. It's a very dark place. And this is because of the way we are attending to the world. Then God said, I sent you a rope down. I sent you a rope down that you can hold this rope and climb up. A rope that was meant to change the way we attend to the world. Because right now I said we're in our mind, we're killing everything in front of us. We're turning everything into an object. So Quran gave us something to go from this way of being in the world into the other way in which you experience everything. You're an encounter with it. Instead of limiting God to a few sentences, you relate to God. You feel God. You relate to people in your life. In order to go from this to this, God said, I sent you a rope to hold the rope and come out of the pit. That rope was all the teachings we had. But what did we do? We started even looking at that rope with this mindset. The rope, the practice, the prescription that was meant to help us get out of the pit, get out of this limited way of seeing the world, we started even looking at the rope like that. The rope was there to help us stop being goal-oriented, stop trying to achieve stuff. We're not human doings, we're human beings. We did the same thing to the rope. Imagine you're at the bottom of a pit, Someone throws a rope down. Instead of taking the rope to go up, you start analyzing the rope, deconstructing the rope. What is this rope made out of? This rope, I think it's probably coming from that company. You keep getting around it and saying, this is a very special rope. This rope, I think, is the best rope in the world. Oh, by the way, what's the history of this rope? Agha Jan, get the rope and go up. By the way, this is literally what we're doing, And dua Joshan Kabir that you recite every night, what do you think we're doing? Dua Joshan Kabir is a rope to go towards God, but we just read it. After reading Dua Joshan Kabir, after encountering it, you have to feel like I'm above the pit. I'm climbing up. But we have turned it into what? We're analyzing it. We turn it into a set of features. I'll just read it. Even our approach to Dua Joshan Kabir, to Salat, to Wuzu is goal-oriented. Dua Joshan Kabir has come to tell you don't need to achieve goals. Look at God, relate God, find God. Then the person on top of it says, if you read Dua Joshan Kabir, you will achieve this. You will get that reward. You will get that reward. Imam Ali came to tell you what? Imam Ali in that famous hadith says, if you want to worship God to go to heaven, you are goal-oriented. You will never encounter God. You will never come out of the pit. If you want to worship God out of fear of hell, you're goal-oriented. You will never encounter God. You're relating to God like this. Some people throughout history with good intentions, by the way, most of these hadiths that, for example, say, read this for this reward, these were with good intentions made by scholars so that people come towards the rope. Even some of the scholars themselves, they said, we forged these hadiths so people read the Quran. They wanted to send people towards the rope. But then what we forgot was that when you come to the rope, you forget about the goals. If you read Dua Joshan Kabir to gain something out of it, you will never encounter God. God is in Dua Joshan Kabir trying to take your hand, but you're focused on so much what you get out of it. So even the rope in this surah, it's so beautiful. وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. God says, Baba, hold on to this rope and climb up. But every rope that we had, we turned it into an object. Masalan, salat. Please recite salawat. Salat itself is a rope. Salat mi'rajul mu'min means what? You can fly. You can fly in prayer. But instead of telling people, oh, this salat is a portal, this salat is an airport, you got to go on flight, what did we do? We turned salat into a set of features. The way we teach salat to our children is what? Make sure you do this with right, do that. Wala dhalin. Allah, it doesn't matter if you know what zalin means or not. As zalin, you know what it means? People who are lost. We are all lost. If you can't find God, you are lost. If you can't see your own worth, you are lost in this world. We are all dhalin. We are all lost. We have lost our way back home. But all we're focused on is what? Wala dhalin. You reduced salat, which is an airport, to a set of features. And it's come to a place where the person actually says that it doesn't matter if it changes you or not, as long as it's okay, as long as your t-shirt is fine. So even salat, which is a rope, salat is amazing. It can change your life. We have turned it into an object. Do this so you achieve that. Do this so you don't go to hell. Do it this way. And we analyze it with this mind. Instead of seeing it as a relationship with God, it's just something you do. And that's why religious waswas in the community is becoming terrible. Because your child thinks it's only about what they do. The person, poor thing, may spend 5 hours to get a wuzu. Wuzu is there to change the way you're in the world. Wuzu is a ritual, is a symbolic act. You do it so that the way you attend the world changes. When you wash your hand, you're telling something yourself. You're trying to change the way you're in the world. It's a ritual. It's a symbolic act. You wash your hand and you think, anything, I made a mistake. I want to encounter God. Allah, if there's anything wrong I did with my hands, I'm sorry. You let go of that. So that after you got the wuzu, you go out and you're a different person. You do mask off your feet and you're telling yourself, if I walk to anywhere which was bad, if I walked anywhere that hurt people, I'll try not to do that. After you get a wuzu, you have to become a different person. You have to become nicer, kinder. But what did we tell our children? Baby, make sure there's not even one spot that you miss or your wuzu will not be accepted. That's the problem. Poor thing is fasting. She's doing wuzu 5 hours in the toilet. Do you know how many families come in their children have religious waspas? It takes them 4 or 5 hours to pray. Because all you told them is that this is a set of things you do. You reduce salah to a set of features. The person never encounters God. They think they just need to do this so that God doesn't punish them. Yani you've blocked the way for them to go towards God. It's not about this. This is just quickly do it. Look at the way Ahl Bayt got wuzu. With this, they would get wuzu with even less than this. You think it was easy to get this much water back then? Read the way the Ahl Bayt got wuzu. It's so simple. It's so beautiful. It's a symbolic act. You do it. It's so important. But it's there to change you something. When they said, get wuzu, it's light. They didn't say, wet yourself, keep putting water. That water is a symbolic act. If you get too much focused on this, what you're doing, you're analyzing the rope. You're so much concerned on the rope, you're not climbing. The person is starting to get so difficult for them to wuzu, asan they let go of God. Do you know how many people, because of religious waswas, hate God now? That's because the way we taught them religion. So this is the problem we have, and now there are, unfortunately, please, I want to speak about some of the issues we have in the community, and I'm going to be a little bit honest because this is necessary. This is important for you and for your children. Wallah, if it wasn't for the salvation of your children, I would not share this with you because I'm super scared. I'm really scared to talk about these things, but I'm worried for your children. I'm worried for yourself. All these prayers that most of us do, alan masalan, they may tell you, it's okay. You don't have any duty. Okay, fair enough. Your duty is gone. But do you think this prayer that we do this way, you're going to find it on the day of judgment? Do you think after you die, this prayer will turn into light for you? Look at your life. If it's giving you any light here, it's going to give you light there too. Baby, I'm worried for you. At that moment when you pass away, you need the light of your salat. But this salat that we do right now, it doesn't have that much light. Because light is not that crazy. If there's light, you feel it here. Salah is a rope you go high from. I can see we're not going high. The problem we have is that there are unfortunately two main approaches in the community. Please pay attention. See, Alan, we have two attitudes towards this problem we have. Some people even deny there is a problem. Right? We are all at the bottom of the pit. We are all in a world that we cannot see God. We are all anxious. We all have issues. And some people still don't accept that there's a problem. They think, no, we have to keep doing what we're doing. They've held on to the rope, but they're sitting down in the pit. This rope is to go high, but they don't accept. And there's another group who sees that and says, it seems like there's a problem. They're like, you say do salat, we're fasting, we're praying, but our anxiety rate is the same as any other religion. Even non-religious people. I told you in Muharram, suicide attempted rates in the Muslim community in America is even higher than other communities. So there's another group of people who see that these rituals didn't help us. Didn't change the way we're attending to the world. So what do they say? They say, Hassan, forget about the rope. Each group has a point and a blind spot. Please pay attention to this. This is super important. One group of people are not admitting that the way we are doing things is not working. And then there's another group who sees that it's not working. It thinks the problem is with the action. So it slowly starts telling you, baby, Allah masalan, you're reading that dua. Is it helping you? No. Hope, let it go. If you're praying, is it helping you? No, let it go. That's what they say. And not that bad, masalan. And they are both looking at it with this mind way of looking at things. Both of them. This one looks at Quran. Masalan, there's a story in the Quran, story of Prophet Yusuf, a story of Prophet Adam. It's a technology, it's a ritual, it's a symbolic thing. You are meant to read this story and change. This story of Prophet Yusuf is a rope. You got to take it and go up. You have to encounter that story. You have to see yourself in the place of Yusuf. But both groups are analyzing it as an object. One of them says, when was this? Where was that heaven that Adam was in? Is it a heaven in the real heaven? Is it a garden on this earth? Oh, this story is a rope. If you keep analyzing it, you're still in the bottom of the pit. If a person is giving tafsir of Quran and this is all they're telling you, it's like tafsir of a rope. Instead of getting the rope to go up, they keep saying, oh, this rope is like this. It was created by that company. And another group analyzes the rope in a different way. Analyzes the Quran in a different way. Masalan, he says, now, Agha Asan Yusuf cannot be real. At that time, we didn't have this kind of group. How can Adam be real? Both of them are looking at it with the mind. Both the person who's trying to save it and the person who wants to get rid of it, they're analyzing it with their mind. Asan, there cannot be an Adam. Evolution proves there is no Adam, for example. And this one says, no, there is an Adam. Both of them are fighting. Both of them are at the bottom of the pit. These stories in the Quran, the ad'iyah we do, Joshan, Kabir, Salat, all of these are a rope out of this dark pit. And now, the kind of people who come and question these things, at least they have a good point. They're seeing that it's not working. But the problem is that when you take this away from people, for a few years they may be happy. I know there are so many people who, masalan, read this dua for a few years, have done certain act for a few years, they see it's not changing them. Someone comes and says, oh, if it's not changing you, let it go. Hope initially it may feel really good. For 1 year, for 2 years, it's easy. Because before that you were holding tight to something that was not helping you. So at least now you let go. So for a couple of years you feel very good. Okay, at least I'm not doing anything. But after that joy goes, one day you wake up and you realize, I'm still at the bottom of the pit. Okay, I'm not doing that dua. You were saying the sanad has a problem. Hope I'm not doing it. You said that story, maybe it's not true. Hope I'm not reading it. Okay, alon what? Alon you look around, you find God. Now you look around, you see your soul, you see yourself. So, we need a third approach. The solution is not to remain the way we're doing things, and it's not to get rid of the things we have. We already have the solutions. We already have the rituals we need. We just need to remember to encounter them in a new way. Please recite the salawat. Oh, I want to give advice because most people are on one of these groups, and I love both of these groups, by the way. I know between you may hate each other, whether the ones who want to change things or whether the ones who think that everything is great. You're both right. The solution is something in the middle. But I want to give advice, or at least a humble experience that I have to both groups. The people who think the way things are right now, it's great. Open your eyes. There is something precious about you that you're holding on to the rope. That's very good. Bless you. It's because of you that we still have Imam Hussein, that we still have our ad'iyah, that we still have salat, that we still have Quran. So thank you. You held on to it. But remember, It's not just holding on to it. You have to climb it and go high. So if someone is trying to come and help you do that, don't look down on them. Don't judge them. Don't think they're not religious. And to the people who are trying to change things, maybe you're getting something right. You know that for a lot of people it's not working. But the way is not to get rid of it. Maybe just knowing history. By the way, I'm so sorry, some of this may not apply to you, but I have to send this message out there to reach the person that needs it. Oh? In order to be able to save a tradition, to try to make it work, just understanding history, fiqh, and kalam is not enough. You're dealing with human beings. You need to know how human beings think, work. You need to read psychology. You need to study rituals. Educate yourself. And before you are sure, don't share your questions with people. Don't share your doubts with people. Wait till you're sure. I've been down this road. The people who are a little bit smarter, they look and see things may not be working. Oh, bless you, I get you. But hala, you're going to go down a journey. You don't need to start sharing everything you find from the start. Give yourself a couple of years. Allow your ideas to settle. And there are some people who are even doubting, مثلا, some of our a'imma. مثلا, a person may come and say, there is no Imam Zaman. This is a serious issue we're having in the community. Dige. Some people come and get scared. They say, oh no, why are you saying that? And he's on the other side, he has questions. Agha, you have questions, bless you. And I know that you're probably not a bad person. You've probably been to a few people. You shared your questions, no one could answer you. So you think you know everything. Give yourself some time. I'm not against you, but give yourself a couple of years. I get you. You went to a few people, probably they didn't have the answers for you. But the real answers are there. The problem we have right now is that so many people are speaking in the name of religion. And 90% of them cannot defend even the basics. So probably you went to them, they couldn't answer you. You thought you found the truth. As smart as you are, you're not the first person to question these things. Give yourself time. You don't need to share everything as soon as you have the first doubt. There are real answers. If you don't know, I'll show you the people who have the answers you want. We've all been down that route. And to the other people, why are you so scared? Oh, it's a young person has questions. We have the answers. Ahl Bayt are the truth. It's not that difficult to prove them. Don't be so scared. Imagine that's your own child. Treat them with a little bit of affection. We have the answers. If the scholars you went to didn't have the answers and you're scared, I'll show you the proper scholars to go to. This is not a source of problem, issue in the community. There's a few people who are smart, have questions. If they find the right teacher, they'll come to the path and they will be the best scholars we have. So to them, I want to tell you, don't look at the community and look down at the community, think they're dumb and you're smart. And to the community, if someone has questions, don't think they're not religious. This person has a very sharp mind, starts questioning things. Give them the right teacher, this person will become the best scholar you have. Be confident. Ahl Bayt are the haqq. In this world, there's only one truth, God and the people who are with God. Anywhere in the world, if we leave you and you're just truth seeking, you will come back to God. You will come back to Ahl Bayt. Why are you scared? Our beliefs are so firm. Don't you worry. So both sides, you don't think they're not religious, and you guys on this side don't think that the community is dumb. Don't think you're the smartest person in the world. Give yourself time. You don't need to share things right now. Maybe a few years you reach other answers in your journey. Relax. Give yourself time. Please recite the salawat. The problem we've had is that, again, my time is over. I know, I'm so sorry, I'll finish now. The problem we've had is that we've been given the best prescription in the world, but it has been shared with us in a way that we were not ready for it. The person who shared it didn't know themselves. Maybe one of the things I want to tell you, and always know this, when you listen to someone, they can only share with you what they have found themselves. If as a speaker, I'm not enjoying my prayer, even if I bring 100 hadiths for you that prayer is important, it will never change your life. If as a parent you're not enjoying prayer, no matter what you tell children, it's not going to help them. The problem we have right now is that so many people who spoke to us about religion, they themselves had not felt it. They were not enjoying prayer. They were not enjoying Quran. Even some of the people who read tafsir of Quran, who write tafsir of Quran, haven't encountered the Quran. There are so many people speaking in the name of religion that you cannot find the real deal. But the real deal is there. There's a way of teaching this religion that changes your life. Alhamdulillah, we have the basics. We have the most important thing. We have the rope. You just need to find a way to climb it. And inshallah, tomorrow I'll speak a little bit about this more. But tonight, that's it. Let's finish. Just a few minutes. All of this lecture I said, so many things, your mind may have gone different places. Let's give our mind some peace. Let's remember God for a couple of seconds, for a few seconds. Alon, wherever your mind is, bring your mind back. Let's send our heart to God for a few minutes. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Alhamdulillah alladhi ad'un. Alhamdulillah alladhi ad'uhu fayujibuni. In Dua Abu Hamza, Imam is telling us, baby, God should be this way. It says, my God, the God that is worthy of praise, the God that is worshipable, is the one that whenever I call him, he answers me. Even though when he called me, I didn't listen. I was slow to answer. Although you may say, when did God ever call us? Oh, every person who's poor, every person who's ill, every child who's orphan, God is shouting at us. God is talking to us through them. Every orphan is God talking to you. Oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm here. Come help this orphan. Every ill person, God is telling us, baby, I'm here. Find me here. Al-Khalqu ayali. People are my family. Every ill person is God talking to us. And in Dua Abu Hamza, Imam says, see, God called me so many times. It told me, your mom is lonely, come help her. That person is poor, go help him. But I was very slow to answer God. But still God kept talking to me. Another phrase, God gave from his wealth to me. Every money we have, every knowledge we have, every power we have is from God. God gave all of this to me, and then afterwards he says, he started borrowing it back from us. يَسْتَغْرِضُنِي. He said, baby, I gave you this wealth, I gave you this knowledge. Can you borrow a little bit back? Can you give some of it to that person? I gave you health. Is it okay if you go help that person a little bit? I gave you knowledge. Is it okay if you go share it with that person? And I didn't. And he still loved me. Alhamdulillah alladhi tahabbaba ilayya wa huwa ghaniyun anni. My God is the God who started a loving relationship with me and he didn't even need me. أنت الذاكر من قبل الذاكرين. God is the one who started remembering us and we're not even thinking of him. He started giving to us when we did not even ask from him. يَوْمًا عُسِيَ فَسَتَرْ. God is the one who, when we made a mistake, covered it so that we wouldn't get embarrassed. يَا غَافِرَ الْخَطِيئَاتِ. God is the one who forgives all of your mistakes. يَا وَلِيَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ. God is the one that when you do something good, he takes care of it so it grows. Maybe you put a poem out there. God takes care of that poem so it reaches to more people. You put a charity. God takes care of that charity so it reaches a family. And then that child that you give donation to grows up and does things. Maybe becomes a source of good in the world. And in all of this, God is taking care of the good thing you do so that it reaches more people. Ya Sami'at Da'awat. You listen to me. You're so close. God is so beautiful. God is here. Let's recite the salawat, but before that, alone for 20, 30 seconds. Oh, let's try something. I'm going to go silent. In your heart, just try to relate to God. Okay? 20 seconds. Bismillah, everyone. In your heart, just relate to God. Ana jalisu man dhakarani. I'm sitting right next to the one who remembers me. Close your beautiful eyes, remember him. He loves you more than your parents do. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. It's a rope. It's not something to say. I witness. God is all around us. All safety is with God. Please recite the salawat.